Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with number 5 in the series The Most Fantastic Chess Moves Ever Played. You can find the first 4 installments in this series in the playlist, and I have put the link to that playlist in the description box. This fantastic move was played in the game Jonathan Tisdall against Graham Lee in 1981. Let's get into it. We're in London, in the United Kingdom, and white is Jonathan Tisdall. Born in New York, an American citizen by origin, he became Irish and later Norwegian. His father is Irish and his mother is Japanese. The game was played in the year he became an international master, 1981. Black is Graham Lee, an English FIDE master. Tisdall opened with d4. e6 from Lee, e4 and c5. The game started with d4, but now we are in a Sicilian. Knight f3, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 and bishop b4, the third most common move after d6 and knight c6. After bishop b4, Tisdall pushed e5, the knight went to e4, knight d5 is the main move, but knight e4 has been played before as well, putting pressure on the knight on c3. Now bishop d2 is the boring move, but Tisdall goes for queen g4, and in the knight d5 variation black can now castle. But here this is not possible, as then knight e4 will hang. So Lee had to go for it. He took on c3. Tisdall took on g7, hitting the rook. Rook f8. And now of course you should not take on c3, because then there's a bishop takes c3 check. It's check, the rook is hanging, the knight is hanging. That doesn't work. So Tisdall played a3. Attacking two black pieces, but black has now a nice discovered check move. Knight b5 check. The bishop was taken and Lee took on d4. Black has a piece for only a pawn, but white has compensation. Bishop d3, and here according to the engine the best move is d5 with an equal game. It's a very complex position. But Lee played queen b6. Now bishop h6 is the most obvious move with a mate threat. Black had probably counted on knight takes c2 check, bishop takes c2 and queen takes b4 check, protecting the rook on f8, protecting against a checkmate. But after king e2 and knight c6, white is better. He can bring all his pieces into the attack by centralizing the rooks, and black's rook a8 and bishop c8 still need a lot of time to get into the game. But Tisdall did not go for bishop h6, he played bishop g5. And again d5 is the best move here, but Lee played knight f5. The knight was taken, e takes f5, and here a great move from Tisdall. Castling queenside. The king is safe there, there's no checks from black. It's centralizing the queen's rook and freeing up the e1 square for the other rook. Great move. Queen g6 from Graham Lee. It looks very strong. He's threatening to swap the queens, after which the sting will have been removed from white's attack. And white cannot avoid the queen swap. There's no places for that white queen to go to. Or so it seems, because here comes one of the most fantastic moves ever played, and it is pawn e5 to e6. What is this? The queen on g7 is just en prise. But what happens if Graham Lee would have taken that queen? Queen takes g7. Well, then he gets checkmated with e takes d7 check. And if we take with the knight, taking with the bishop leads to checkmate in the same way. But let's take with the knight. then rook h e1 check, and all you can do is give away your pieces on e5, queen e5, rook takes, knight takes e5, and rook d8 is checkmate. So we cannot take the queen on g7. Let's try something else. Let's try knight c6 to bring another piece into the defense. Well, it's almost like a study, because it's now not e takes d7 check that wins, but it's e takes f7 check. Let's look at a variation. Rook takes f7, rook h e1 check, rook e7, rook takes, knight takes, and queen takes is checkmate. So knight c6 doesn't work either. So e takes d7 or e takes f7 is the threat, but we cannot take that e6 pawn. Let's have a quick look. If we take with the d pawn, rook d8 is checkmate. If we take with the f pawn, then queen e7 is checkmate. This is really like a composition. What a wonderful game. So what is left? Well, let's look at queen takes e6. Well, that doesn't work either, because then there is rook h e1, winning the queen for a rook, and black will get checkmated anyway. Let's look at the threat. Let's make a silly move for black just to show what can happen. Let's make a7, a6. That move doesn't make any sense, but I just want to show the checkmate. Rook takes e6 check. And if you take with a d pawn, rook d8 again is checkmate. If you take with the f pawn, queen e7 is checkmate. So the only thing that is left to try is the move from the game. Graham Lee played d5. Tisdale took on d5, threatening rook d8 mate. Knight c6 from Lee, desperately trying to bring pieces into the defense. And Tisdale played e7 with the threat of e takes f8 queen checkmate. You cannot try rook g8, that doesn't work because of rook d8 check, knight takes d8, and e takes d8 queen is checkmate. Lee played knight takes e7, but resigned after rook d8 check, another wonderful move to finish off the game. Why did Lee resign? You have to take on d8, but then there is queen takes f8 check, and black will get checkmated. Let's look at a variation. King c7, queen takes e7 check, bishop d7, bishop f4 check, and if you go to b6, there is queen c5 check, king a6, and queen a5 is checkmate. If after bishop f4 check you go to c8, then there is queen f8 check, bishop e8, and queen takes e8 is also checkmate. What a fantastic game. I hope you agree with me that e5, e6 on the 15th move is one of the most fantastic moves ever played. Some of those variations really look like they came from a problem or a study composition. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a comment, and if you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media using the share button on YouTube. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box. And as I said, the playlist of the most fantastic chess moves ever played is also in the description box. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you very much for watching.